The young man smiles confidently. I'm a professional in my field, darling. These pills are harmless. All they'll do is make your husband feel a little luckier tonight. Mrs. Kim considers this for a moment, her mind calculating the potential outcomes of this unexpected gambit. After a thoughtful pause, she shrugs, feigning nonchalance. Well, if that's the case, why not? It is his birthday, after all. The young man grins, tucking the pills back into his sleeve. Trust me, by the end of the night, your husband will be thanking you. And me, I hope. With that, they return to the ongoing celebration, Mrs. Kim maintaining the guise of the gracious hostess while harboring the secret of the orchestrated distraction. The night progresses, the high-class celebration in full swing. Mrs. Kim discreetly watches as the young man, armed with the pills and a charismatic charm, makes his way toward her husband. As the young man engages Taehyung in conversation, Mrs. Kim observes from a distance, her eyes masked by an air of casual elegance. The guy, showing a genuine appreciation for the opulence of the event, starts the conversation with a courteous nod. Mr. Kim. Such a beautiful party it is. A really nice hotel, I have to admit. Taehyung, acknowledging the compliment with a brief smile, glances around at the lavish surroundings. Thanks. It's mine, he says, his tone carrying a mixture of pride and weariness. He scans the room with a glance, sighing heavily. The young man, undeterred by Taehyung's brief response, seizes the opportunity to redirect the conversation. Speaking of impressive properties, Mr. Kim, I've always been fascinated by the real estate landscape. It's a field that demands a keen eye for potential and a vision for transformation, I think. Taehyung, recognizing the shift in topic to his professional domain, raises an eyebrow. Real estate, huh? It's a challenging but rewarding field. What specifically about it fascinates you? The young man, with a smooth transition from small talk to business discourse, replies. Oh, the transformative power of it all, Mr. Kim. The ability to take a space and turn it into something entirely new, something that resonates with people. It's a craft, really, Taehyung, finding a common ground, nods in agreement. Indeed, it's about envisioning possibilities and making them a reality. But it's not without its challenges. The young man, ever the professional, continues to steer the conversation, his words a carefully crafted dance of charm and business acumen. Meanwhile, Taehyung's mind remains elsewhere, his thoughts consumed by the absence of someone important. Mr. Kim. The young man says, leaning in slightly. Real estate is such a dynamic field, don't you think? The way it intertwines the past, present, and future, it's like orchestrating a symphony of architecture and vision. Taehyung, though physically present, is mentally distant. He nods absently, his gaze wandering through the crowd, searching for a familiar face that he knows isn't there. The young man, undeterred by Taehyung's lack of engagement, persists in his efforts to capture the man's attention. And the challenge of finding the perfect balance between tradition and modernity, it's an art form in itself. How do you navigate the delicate dance, Mr. Kim? Taehyung, his thoughts still lingering on Jungkook, takes a moment before responding. It's about preserving the soul of a place while adapting to the needs of the present. But, excuse me, he adds, looking away, I need a moment. The young man, adept at reading cues, senses Taehyung's distraction. However, he doesn't allow the conversational flow to falter. Of course, Mr. Kim. Take your time. When you're ready, I'd love to hear more about your perspective, as Taehyung discreetly steps away, seeking a moment of solitude. The young man gracefully weaves through the crowd, ensuring his presence remains in Taehyung's periphery. His approach is subtle yet persistent, the embodiment of a professional who knows the delicate balance between persistence and respect. The guy, noticing Mrs. Kim's disappointed gaze on him as Taehyung remains emotionally distant, decides to recalibrate his approach. He catches her eye and she subtly nods, a silent signal for him to try again. He nods in acknowledgement and discreetly points to his sleeve, where the pills are hidden, seeking her approval for the next move. Mrs. Kim, after a moment of consideration, nods in agreement, granting permission for another attempt. The young man gracefully re-enters the flow of the celebration, finding Taehyung once again engaged in a solitary moment. He approaches, a friendly smile on his face, now adopting a more direct and flirtatious tone. With a confident smile, he extends his hand. "Mr. Kim. My apologies for diving into business talk right away. I realized I've been terribly impolite. I'm Jongin," he says, introducing himself with a friendly demeanor. Taehyung, though still somewhat distant, reciprocates with a nod. Jongin, with a charming twinkle in his eye, continues. "I couldn't help but be drawn to the most enigmatic man in the room, you see. I thought, why not strike up a conversation and get to know the man behind the success?" Taehyung, caught off guard by the unexpected compliment, offers a small, appreciative smile. Jongin, seizing the opportunity, smoothly transitions away from the business talk that had initially occupied their discussion. "You know, Mr. Kim, it's a sin to let a celebration like this pass by without enjoying it to the fullest. Let's not get bogged down by work, shall we?" Jongin suggests, leading the conversation to lighter topics. He guides Taehyung away from the heavy atmosphere, steering towards the essence of the celebration, the music, the ambience, and the shared experience. "Tell me, what's your idea of a perfect night at a celebration like this? A dance, perhaps? Or maybe just enjoying the melodies from afar?" Taehyung, seemingly more at ease with the change of subject, contemplates for a moment before responding. "I suppose a quiet corner and good music would do the trick. Less about the grandeur, more about the moments, you know." Jongin, with a mischievous glint in his eye, leans in slightly. "I couldn't agree more, Mr. Kim. Sometimes it's the quieter moments that hold the most magic. Perhaps we should find that quiet corner together." Taehyung, taken aback by the bold suggestion, offers a genuine chuckle. Jongin, maintaining the flirtatious banter, adds, "After all, what's a celebration without a bit of spontaneity?" Taehyung, though momentarily entertained by Jongin's flirtatious banter, remains reserved. He chuckles at the suggestion of finding a quiet corner but maintains a polite distance. "I appreciate the offer, Jongin, but I think I'll stick to observing the celebration from a distance," the man replies, his gaze wandering through the crowd. Jongin, always the persistent professional, doesn't let the moment discourage him. Instead, he adjusts his approach, opting for a more subtle yet captivating strategy. With a knowing smile, he redirects the conversation to a lighter topic, all the while maintaining an undercurrent of playful flirtation. "So, Mr. Kim," Jongin continues, "if you were to pick a song that perfectly captures the essence of tonight, what would it be? A melody to soundtrack this moment?" Taehyung, appreciating the shift, considers the question. "Well, that's a tough one. Maybe something classic, timeless." Jongin, with a spark of delight in his eyes, nods approvingly. Oh, a choice as sophisticated as the man himself. It is? And who knows, maybe by the end of the night, we'll be dancing under that same moonlight. Taehyung, though resistant to the idea, can't help but smile at the playful persistence. Jongin, seizing the opportunity, continues. What do you say, Mr. Kim? A dance under the moonlight, just for tonight. Taehyung, maintaining his polite demeanor, offers a non-committal response. We'll see how the night unfolds, Jongin. For now, let's enjoy the music and the company of the celebration. As the evening progresses, Jongin continues his delicate dance of charm and flirtation. He subtly tries to catch Taehyung's eye, injecting moments of humor and shared enjoyment into the conversation. The celebration becomes the stage for this intricate performance, where each word and gesture is a carefully calculated move in the artful diversion. Mrs. Kim, watching from her discreet vantage point, observes the ebb and flow of the interplay, recognizing the challenge of drawing Taehyung's attention away from his thoughts of Jungkook. Jongin, undeterred by Taehyung's continued reserve, decides to take a more direct approach in his flirtation. With a confident smirk, he leans in slightly, his eyes holding a determined sparkle. Mr. Kim, I must say, your presence tonight has added a touch of mystery to this celebration. It's as if the room comes alive when you're in it, Jongin remarks, his tone suggestive. Taehyung, maintaining his guarded demeanor, offers another tight-lipped smile. Jongin, sensing the need to escalate, becomes more assertive. You know, Taehyung, he continues, using a more intimate form of address, there's a certain energy lingering in the air, don't you think? The kind that begs to be explored. Taehyung, visibly uncomfortable with the directness of the statement, shifts on his feet. Jongin, I appreciate the sentiment, but I think we should keep things on a more professional level. But the guy, instead of backing off, leans even closer, his voice a sultry whisper. Professionalism has its time and place, but tonight, in this celebration, I can't help but be drawn to the allure of something more personal. Taehyung, feeling the intensity of the moment, raises an eyebrow in mild surprise. Jongin, with a playful glint in his eye, continues to press the boundaries of flirtation. I've always believed in seizing the opportunities that come our way, Taehyung, Jongin says, his words dripping with innuendo. Who knows what the night holds for us? It would be a shame not to find out. Taehyung, now fully aware of tensions, decides to address the situation more directly. Jongin, I'm not sure where you're trying to go with this, but I'm not interested in exploring anything beyond a casual conversation tonight. Jongin, momentarily taken aback by Taehyung's directness, recalibrates his approach. He offers a charming smile, attempting to ease the tension. Fair enough, Taehyung. I can respect that. Let's get back to enjoying the celebration, then. Perhaps we'll find common ground in a different rhythm. As the night blooms, Jongin subtly shifts his tactics, trying to find ways to engage Taehyung without being too overt. He keeps the conversation light, discussing various topics and laughing at Taehyung's jokes. However, the playful glint in his eye never fades, and he strategically drops hints that carry a dual meaning. Jongin leans in, his voice a low murmur. You know, Taehyung, sometimes it's good to let go of inhibitions and embrace the unexpected. Life is full of surprises, and we should savor each moment. Taehyung, though maintaining his composure, begins to feel increasingly uneasy with Jonghaen's persistent advances. He subtly glances around, trying to spot someone else in the crowd.